Remind me to be sure to answer the questions that are posted in the group if I forget, if we don't address them on this call, okay? So basically, this is just an open forum, and I would love to keep us no more than like a half an hour because I know how busy everybody is, but this is just an open forum for people to ask me questions, your pressing, burning questions about this business. It can be anything because there is no stupid question. If you're thinking it, wondering it, I guarantee you, you're not the only person who's thinking it or wondering it. So it really can be anything. And I am here to help you, and you can pick my brain. How's that sound? Good? All right. So let's see. Does anybody want to start? Who's got a question for me? You guys are shy. I know you got questions.
I posted my questions online because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to be on the call.
I saw it, and I love your questions. Do you want me to pull them up really quick, or did you have them written down?
Can you pull up? I didn't.
Sure can.
Yeah.
Sure can. Hold on one second. I'm going to get there on my phone. Here I am multitasking. I thought your questions were fabulous, so let's address them. I know you talked about, as I'm waiting to pull these up,
being overwhelmed. Yeah, like I'm going through a training with Nicole, but I feel like I want to move faster, but I can't, and then I feel like there's just so much to learn. Like I don't know how to post pictures up properly. Like like how to post pictures with pretty sayings across the front. I mean, I've seen a lot of photos, and I've downloaded all of them, and I'm still trying to figure out how to use them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've downloaded some programs to try to make them pretty.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily just that, but just how do you get over the overwhelm? Yeah. I mean, it's I've been asking a few people to join me in my challenge group that I haven't even set up or done anything with, but I still ask, and I don't know. I'm just wondering, how to, I guess, combat that.
Okay. Well, I guess the beauty and the good and the bad that you probably don't want to hear is the overwhelm never completely goes away. I don't know, Megan, if you would agree with that. Yeah. But I think that my best advice is going to be the same for a brand new coach as it would be for a veteran coach, which is stick to the basics. If the only thing you're doing every day is posting on social media to engage people and making one of those posts fitness or food or coaching opportunity related. Whoop. I gotta mute people. Hold on.
No, you're fine, Jessica.
Oh no. Let's see.
No, you're fine, Jessica.
Okay, can you guys still hear me? Okay. I think stick to the basics. So the 3 vital behaviors, basically. And I know that sounds like really, really simple, but I would tell the same thing to someone who'd been coaching for 5 years or 5 minutes. If you are posting on social media, which is and inviting people to your challenge groups, whether it be via personal message or just like showing a picture of you and talking about your amazing workout and how it made you feel, okay? And you're reaching out to other people, adding more people to your network, basically. So doing some form of inviting or communicating with other people, number 1, right? Number 2, being a product of the product, so making sure that you're getting your own workout in, drinking your shake. And number 3, doing something, some sort of personal development, whether it be listening to an audiobook, reading a book, tuning into this call. This is personal development. Okay, so doing something to better yourself and move yourself forward in this business. So if the only thing you can get to every day are the 3 vital behaviors, inviting, which inviting can look like a lot of different things. It doesn't always have to be a message inviting someone cold to the, being a product of the product and personal development, sticking to the basics. I think for me, it helps every day to start my day or start my time that I'm going to work with a list of what I absolutely must get through to move my business forward. Because otherwise I look at it and I'm just so freaking overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start. And you could spend all day doing nothing, you know? So I think that you do know. So start with the basics. And I don't know, Michi, if you've looked at all at the power of threes that sheet, you've probably just got so much overwhelm going on. That's a good one too, because it really breaks it down simple. Let's see if you can unmute yourself. I'm gonna unmute you.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. So that's a nice way to break it down simple, but I think simplicity is key when you're feeling the overwhelm, because you're never going to get as much done as you want to get done in a whole day. Because this business, you could work 80 hours a week or 8 hours a week. It really just depends on what you're able to put into it. But I think keeping it simple is the best advice I have, and just focusing on the three vitals and just going through your checklist for the week and knocking it out as best you can. Does that help at all?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. Because the overwhelm is insane. I mean, it's insane. And it doesn't really get easier. You just get better at focusing on what's the most important thing, what's going to move my business forward. Anything you can get done beyond those three vital behaviors is just, icing on the cake.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. And we'll come back. And I think as far as managing your time, because you are able to do this full time right now, right?
Yes.
So really setting some business hours and sticking to them, and making sure that you always sit down at your computer with a list of what you absolutely must get through, and work your way through that list, starting with the most important things first. Three vitals first, I think, is the best advice I have, because you could spend all day working this job and doing nothing. So I think just setting some business hours and keeping those really focused. And then when you're not working, don't stress out about it. Does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Keep those questions coming. Who else has a question for me? Nobody? All right. Well, I'm going to read, while I'm waiting for you guys to come up with something good, I'm going to read I know that we had Sarah posted a question in here. How do you keep everything organized? Well, I struggle to keep everything organized. I think that is one of my downfalls. I've tried a lot of different systems as far as keeping things, in like an Excel sheet on the computer or a Google Doc, all my contacts and whatnot. I could tell you that I keep my images, and all my images for challenge groups are in folders on my computer. And I organize my posts for my challenge groups in Google Docs for the most part. I try. And so I do keep some stuff electronic. And I think my advice there is the sooner you can get organized with that, the better, because I had to do a lot of backtracking and go back and try to figure out where I was saving things and how to save it. And if I just started from day one, it would have been a lot easier for me. So folders on your computer are your friends. So whatever that looks for you, as far as 21-day fix folder, or Google Images for challenge groups folders, or I'm a big fan of doing Google spreadsheets for all my groups, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just saving those posts. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. And I'm going to be really honest with you, as far as organizing who I'm inviting and my potential coaches and that kind of stuff, pen and paper is what I do. And I know a lot of people really have electronic systems that work for me, but I tell you, I've tried everything there is, and what works for me is writing it down on a freaking sheet of paper and keeping it in a binder. It's probably not ideal, but it works for me. So again, though, I have to say, the sooner you can start organizing that contact list, the better. Organization is key in the beginning of this business, rather than constantly trying to backtrack and pick up the pieces. So experiment with what works for you, and don't be shy about asking questions. But If you have an actual office space, which I don't, which is one reason my house is on the market, really take advantage of that, because if you can keep your stuff organized, that's huge. Whiteboards are big too. Calendars are big for me. You know, you could write down your power of 3 list, but really there's lots of different systems. I think the trick is finding something that works for you, and what works for me is pen and paper for the people I'm talking to. And checklists. I like to sit down with a checklist and literally cross things off or check things off that I did, track my progress. But anything I'm posting in groups, I organize in Google Docs or folders. And I don't know, Megan, I'm just going to put you on the spot to see if you have anything to add to that, because everybody's organizational systems are so different to the type of personality they are. And I am not, self-admittedly, not a very organized person.
I am a type A anal person.
Okay, so it's a good thing I asked you.
But I mean, I guess going back to that original question, this business I think is really overwhelming because there is so much stuff and there are so many ways to do it. And you're always hearing from everyone about all the ways to do it. So I know Beth is on my team, and we kind of worked through a power of 3s, and then I developed like a couple other documents for them so that Beth, did you make a binder? Yeah. Okay. I think.
Yeah, I have a binder, but
I know.
it's not organized.
But so I work to have like a binder with like my power of 3s, conversations I'm having, coach prospects, people who are in challenge groups, and trying to keep track of them, just so I don't, because I like to check in on them as they're going through groups. And anyone I am inviting, and then kind of like the status of where we are, because people will hang on. So I keep track of what they're saying to me.
Yep. Perfect. I think that's awesome. I know some coaches do whiteboards, you know, they'll do whiteboards for like their potential challengers, their potential coaches, who's in their challenge groups, the coaches that they are working with, you know, like Amanda Dewey's got a giant whiteboard. You've got to experiment with what works for you. But I think the best advice that Megan and I could both give you is experiment with a system and find a system. I don't care if it's Post-it notes. You need something to keep yourself organized, because it's a lot of names to juggle. Right? Meg, do you agree? Other questions that are popping up in your mind right now before I move on to another one that someone posted in the group. Don't be afraid. It really can be, there is no dumb question. You can ask me anything. How long I've been a coach. What my favorite program is. How many, I don't know. How do you invite someone to a challenge group? It could be anything.
That's the one. How do you invite people? How do you not sound like you're selling them something? I know, Megan, we've talked about this, but
I know it's coming tomorrow. I made it. It's a PowerPoint of all the different invites I have. So
I love it. I'll be curious to see what Megan says on this too. I think that you're going to hear, how do you invite people? And I think this was one of the questions that someone asked in the page too. How do you invite people to a challenge group without sounding salesy? I think the number one type of message I send throughout my day is not a message having anything to do with Facebook. Okay? Not Facebook. What am I thinking? A challenge group. Oh, I'm tired. On Facebook, not having anything to do with a challenge group. So I reach out to someone, and it's just, I call it the hey girl message. Hey girl, you know, oh my gosh, I saw that you guys are snowed in over in, you know, North Carolina. What, you know, how are things? Blah, blah, blah. And then she'll be like, hey girl, it's great to hear from you. Oh my gosh, I've been meaning to ask you about XYZ, 21-day fix. So I spend a lot of my time just being social on social media, because the cold invite's really uncomfortable for me. And I've been doing this for 4 years, and it has not stopped getting uncomfortable for me. So I'd say that's one thing I do, is I just genuinely, for example, okay, here's a good example. And it's just me being me. It's not me like hoping to make a sale, okay? When I was on my way to LA, I was behind these girls they played tennis for the University of Arkansas. I don't know, the pigs. I don't know what they are. Anyways, so I could see all their like University of Arkansas gear. And so I have a friend who lives down in Arkansas, used to live here. So I took a picture and I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, Suey, or whatever they say. And so we were messaging back and forth. And she's like, oh my gosh, well, I've got you here. I mean, we need to ask you about Shakeology. Well, that was random. And okay, it worked. But I didn't message her with the intention of selling her something, right? So I sent her a sample. Now she messaged me back today. So it's been a very natural progression. So that is, I would say, at least 50% of what I do is just being social. So it doesn't feel salesy to me because it's not. And then I would say I do send cold invites to people, inviting them to be part of a challenge group. And I always start out by making some sort of connection to their life. So you should always be checking out their Facebook posts to make sure that like their dad didn't die yesterday. And then you're sending them a message inviting them to their challenge group. I've done that and it was really, really awkward. So don't make that mistake, okay? So check out their Facebook, see what's going on in their life, make a genuine connection first, and then it should be a logical invitation to the challenge. So I know, for example, Megan's was doing a bridal boot camp, right? So she's not gonna go message people who aren't getting married. Logical. So I had a friend from high school. I just invited her to my mom's challenge because she's often asking me about, recipes. She's got triplets and another couple kids, and recipes that, the whole family can eat that she can make while she's teaching full time. So I messaged her to invite her to the group because I genuinely think she'd benefit from it. And so first I made a genuine connection. Then I invited her to the group, told her a little bit about it, and then said, do you want to know more? And that's kind of what I left it as. And she didn't join the group in the end, but she reached back out and said, thanks for thinking of me, blah, blah, blah. So I try to make a logical connection with something that I've seen that might be a why that they might have, rather than just trying to sell them something because they have a pulse. I don't know. Meg, do you want to piggyback on that? I'm totally putting you on the spot, but.
No, I joined to hear my guys' question. So
Okay.
I would say the exact same thing. And Jess, I can share this with you. I actually just made a PowerPoint for my team of
Love it.
All the different, like a cold invite and what I use it for. And I use cold invites, I always say, for either people I know really, really well, or a lot of ex-students. It's easier because we have like a fun relationship, so I can be right, Carly. So I can, I can just be a little bit more direct. But there's like, you have to know the friend if you can do the cold invite, I think.
Yep, I agree completely.
No.
Or it could be someone you don't know hardly at all.
Yeah.
The cold invite works for me if it's like a referral, like someone who responded to an ad. I don't care if I come off salesy because that's why we're connected, is because,
Yeah. And then I also use the cold invite for any like niche group. So if it's a bride, I reached out to a neighbor who I've like talked to twice, but I was like, well, you're getting married. I have an excuse. So I use it for that. But then I do the Hey Girl a lot. And I often do just like beyond the Hey Girl, like random messages. Like I sent one girl a message. She had posted something about like the Target Cartwheel app, and I messaged her and I was like, thank you so much for posting about that. I always have questions. And her response to me was, yeah, no problem. So can you tell me more about the 21-day fix? But
exactly.
it just, it opened that door. It was really weird. And then I tried like following up. And then, I guess those were mine. But I can share this with you, Jess.
That's awesome.
If you want it to. So for this group.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. I think that one thing you'll find that Megan and I do a lot the same, and we both do general shout outs on our page, Facebook page, to inviting people. But I think that if you feel like it's fake or salesy or creepy, then it probably is. So don't be that person. Be yourself,
Yeah, I get most of my customers from private messaging.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where they come from.
Yeah. And if you feel like that private message is creepy, then make it be you. Because we've all gotten those creepy private messages. Don't be that person. And I just think being yourself and knowing your audience and not always leading with a sale, I mean, that's not the way our team operates. So I don't know if that helps at all, but it doesn't. It still is hard. I was going to say it does get a little easier, but it's awkward. Be confident. I think mindset, remember that you're offering them a gift. I know that may sound cheesy, but Amanda, my upline coach, for those of you who don't necessarily know my story, but my upline coach, Amanda Dewey, who's like your guys' grandma or great grandma coach, right, in our business, she's one of my best friends from college, and she invited me to challenge groups like, I don't even know, a dozen times probably, and I like didn't even respond half the time. I was like, whatever, I don't understand this thing she's doing. And then finally when she invited me, the time was right, and I said yes. And I just think if she had given up on me and not offered me that gift, it has truly changed my life. And so you're offering someone a gift, and if you go in with that confidence that the worst that's going to happen is they'll think you're creepy and say no, oh well, then it's their loss, because it's an amazing opportunity for somebody to be a part of what you're offering. So don't let the fear of being creepy stop you from offering someone a gift, because you know you're not creepy. I don't know if that, I guess, go off on a tangent, because I just think what would have happened if Amanda would have given up on me, or if I would have given up on you, Megan, you know, like.
That's my Carly, who's on with us tonight, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking back. I started inviting Carly February of 2015.
Right? Year later. Hi, Carly.
And I just love because she's always posting fitness profile or pictures of what she's eating and like all the, I was like, you're basically being a Beachbody coach.
For free, right?
So don't give up either, I would say, because sometimes, like you said, it's just not the right time for people, you know, and so I'm excited she's here because I think she's going to be good.
Yeah.
You know?
I would agree. Don't give up on people. No means not right now, most of the time. And that's one thing that I have really learned in this business is someone saying yes to the challenge group, or yes to the coaching opportunity, or yes to buying Shakeology from you. That is like the forefront of your mind. That's not the forefront of their mind. Okay. They have a million other things going on. So if they don't get back to you, they blow you off. It's a lot of times has nothing to do with you. Keep following up until you get a hard and fast, no, I will not do this. I hate Beachbody. I hate you. I hate Shakeology. Leave me alone. Then leave them alone. But I think in general, the fortune is in the follow-up, and a lot of people are not successful in direct sales because they stop following up. So keep following up. Megan approached me. I don't think I approached you. You approached me about 21 Day Fix, and then it was a long time later that you got on board, you know? So.
Well, yeah, I stalked you for 9 months,
right.
Watching you, and then, and then took a while. So, I mean, people are watching you if you're being consistent.
Yep. All right. I'm going to pull up another one of these questions that one of these ladies posted really quick. She had some really good questions. Let's see. And then I will see if you guys have any more, because I don't want to keep you super late. How do you invite via Facebook message without sounding salesy or just plain creepy? We just talked about that. Make it really personal. Be yourself. Don't be creepy. How do you keep getting people to spend the money on challenge packs / Shakeology versus just workouts? What's the secret? I'm going to give you the answer that you probably don't want to hear. And I think Megan will agree with me. You don't work for free. You have success because you invested in yourself and tried both the shakes and the workouts. And unless it's a really, really close friend of mine who has like a really challenging financial situation going on, or there's always going to be an exception to the rule, right? But I'd say 99.9% of the time, the way you get in a challenge group is you buy the challenge pack, period. If you lead with a challenge pack as the option, oh, you want to be my challenge group? Awesome. I can't wait. Here's a link to the challenge pack for the first 30 days, etc. 99% of the time, people are going to be like, okay. You know, I think that if you give them the cheaper option, they're always going to take the cheaper option, and the person they're cheating are themselves and you, because you're putting a ton of time into this, and then they're buying it from Amazon and still wanting to be in your group. So I think the biggest advice I can get is don't offer just the fitness program. And most people will do what you tell them to do. If they really want the results, if they're really all in and they're really committed, they'll make the investment. When I have people in the past who've bought a fitness program and have not Like they got it from Craigslist and then they didn't buy Shakeology and they were in my group. They didn't participate. They hadn't invested in themselves. They had no skin in the game. So I really think that lead with the challenge pack. And then if you start to get a lot of objections, then you can go from there. And I think it varies from coach to coach. Some coaches absolutely positively will not let anybody in their challenge group unless they have a challenge pack. Other coaches will let anybody in their challenge group. And then there's people who take things on a case-by-case basis. So my personal standpoint is I take it on a case-by-case basis because I always remember in the back of my mind that Melanie Mitro, top coach in the company 2 times in a row, joined her first challenge group without Shakeology. So what if her coach had said no to her? Okay? So keep that in mind. Your ultimate goal is to help people. And eventually, usually, they will come around and buy Shakeology. But stick to your guns. If you lead with that challenge pack and tell them that's the requirement to be in the group, most people will be on board. Be confident. Don't give them a cheaper option. You didn't take the cheaper option. Why should they? You are worth their investment. Sorry, I get fired up about this one. Meg, do you agree? Do you have anything you want to piggyback on that?
I mean, I couldn't agree more. When I first started, I didn't do I was nervous and didn't do the challenge pack. And not only did I work really, really hard for $14, but people didn't have good results. And those people like today, like will have nothing to do with me. And they didn't have good results because they didn't invest in themselves. And they didn't use the shakes to help them kick their sugar habits and their snacking habits. So they didn't lose the weight, and then they blamed me. And that's like one of the biggest things I tell all my coaches is if people are going to do this, they have to invest in themselves. They have to invest financially, and they have to make a commitment to something. And part of that commitment is the whole package. It's put out there for a reason. And so when they ask like what to say, I always say, when people are like, how much is it? I always respond with, well, for the meal plans, the portioning control system, the 7 workouts, me as your coach in a group, and 30 days of Shakeology, it's $140. However, it's a one-time fee. For 30 days, you try the Shakeology, and then it's up to you if you want to keep going or not. So that's how I kind of word it too. But I always tell them that they're not going to have good results if they come in without that, because unless they're like super dedicated, highly fitness orientated people, they won't kick sugar.
No.
And I think that's the crux of it all. And that's what Shakeology is going to do for them. So
Agreed.
I don't know.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I would say another thing I do is and I think you just reminded me of that when you were saying that I add value to the challenge pack. They're getting an incredible deal. So I say, for only $140, you're getting 8 workouts that you get to keep forever, 30 days of a meal replacement. Okay. My coaching for as many times as they need me, basically, and so it's a really great deal. I mean, add value to it. They're not going to find a personal coach and a shake with the quality that Shakeology is and workouts that they get to keep for that cheap of a price anywhere else. And 99% of the time, it is not that people don't have the money. Me and my 99%, you can tell I'm not a math person. Everything's 99%. But 99% of the time, it's not that they don't have the money. It's that they don't see the value in it. They'll come up with the money if they see the value in it. When I did my first challenge group, I just lost my job. You kidding me? I didn't have the money for Shakeology, and I stayed on it for 60 days because Amanda told me you need to do this for 60 days. So I trusted her because I wanted the results. And we made the adjustment in our grocery budget so that I could drink it. I made it work. So people will make it work if they want it bad enough. There's always going to be an exception to the rule, yes, and that's up to you to decide. But place value on yourself as a coach. You don't need to work for $14. So, sorry, I get fired up about that one because people are going to try to take advantage. They always do. Other questions from people who are on live, because I don't want to just keep throwing stuff at you. But if you don't, I will. All right. Let's see. BT, did you have a question? Are you chatting? Chat box. I can't hear you.
Me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. My headset wasn't plugged in all the way.
No worries.
Yeah, I wanted to know, do you have a list of, or does Beachbody have a list of typical objections and then responses to objections?
I think we have, that's a really good one. We have some slides, I think, in our Check the Team on the Run images. And I'm pretty sure we've got some from a call I was on, but I will find them for you. I
Okay.
don't think there might be something in the online office, but I feel like maybe we should do a call on this. That'd be a good one. But I know that there are some slides that I posted in there. So I'll find them today and tag you in them too. But
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. Great question. Let's see. I'm going to dig really quick in to make sure that I answer all these questions. Social media, any advice there? Yes, be yourself. But the best version of yourself, that doesn't mean be fake, okay? That means like don't complain incessantly or be like a negative Nancy or be really vulgar or gross. Like be yourself, but the best version of yourself, even if that means having a crappy day. I think that Megan and I are both pretty good people to watch on social media, that we are a good balance of ourselves, but like if I'm going to drop a bunch of F-bombs, I'll text Megan instead of posting it on my status, right? So, so be yourself, the best version of yourself. Post 3 to 5 times a day, which I know is like overwhelming, especially for people who aren't really big on social media, but it gets easier. Make a balance of fitness posts and personal posts. So basically 80% of what you put out there should not have anything to do with fitness or food or Beachbody. People don't want to be flooded with that crap in their newsfeed. It's annoying and people will block you. And I think that when you do post about fitness and food and Beachbody, like the 20%, please don't post just constant product pictures, because again, it's really annoying and people are not investing in the product. They're investing in you and they're investing in themselves. So they're not interested in just seeing Autumn all the time. They want to see you, right? From 21 Day Fix. So that's my advice. I also would say watch the timing of your posts. So, don't be posting always at like 11:30 at night or 4:30 in the morning, because people aren't online. And I would say another big thing, and you guys can scope out my page after this, that I do, maybe not every day, but a few times a week, is people want to talk about themselves and they want to give advice and they want to engage with you. So if you can, anytime you can ask a question, people go crazy for that stuff. And so I asked about my daughter's ears, okay, because she keeps asking me about her getting her ears pierced. So my question today was, when did you pierce your kids' ears? Okay, legitimate question. Am I really going to take all these people's advice to heart? Probably not, because I'm going to do what I think is best for my kid. But people go crazy. They want to give advice. They don't just want you to be interesting. They want you to be interested in them. So anytime you can engage people, what does that do? It basically gets more eyes on your page. So all those 60-some people who interacted with me about my daughter's ears are now going to see my shit popping up in their newsfeed, right? This is good. Next thing you know, they're going to message me about, what's this Shakeology stuff you're drinking? So anytime I can ask a question, humor. Megan's funny on her page. Obviously if funny is not your thing, then I think you're funny. Funny is not your thing. I don't like force it, but people like funny. I think anytime you can offer free advice too, that's helpful. So they call it premium, so like recipes or like anything like that. People eat that up. I don't know. Meg, do you want to piggyback on that?
Like good food pictures, not bad food pictures, but good food pictures. People love. I had a girl who I've been like inviting to coaching, and she was like, If you could just get me an Instagram to your food pictures permanently, that would be great. I was like, what? I take like 3. What? Like,
Your
but
pictures
it's
are
again,
awesome.
it goes to show people are watching and they love food. They really love food. I don't know. I would say food too. And they like to see you fail. They love that.
Mhm.
They love it when I have a bad day.
They do. And a bad day without being that person that you want to block on Facebook because all they ever
Yeah,
do is about
yeah,
that day.
yeah.
So it's like that fine balance. Like I admitted to having to start hammer and chisel all over again for the 3rd freaking time the other day. People love that post. I made a post, it was a while back, about not being able to zip up my jeans. And I posted a picture. People love that. They love that stuff. They want to see you be human.
Mm-hmm.
That's inspiring. That's weird, but that's my advice to social media about social media is just be present, be the best version of you, be real, be engaging, be interesting, and interested. All else fails, post a question. You know, what brand of jeans should I get? What car? I mean, anything. People love to give their opinion. Let's see. What other question does she have? How do you keep the momentum going after a couple of months? I feel like everyone is going to block me. I'll run out of people I know. Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys though that after doing this for almost 4 years, I've still not tapped out my warm market. Okay. And how do I know this? Because Megan signed on as a coach a year ago, and a little over a year ago, right? And I would consider her still part of my warm market because she's someone that I've been friends with for years. So my warm market's still hanging around. Now, is it as easy as it used to be for me to sell challenge packs and hit Success Club? No. But the way I have overcome that is you have to constantly be adding people to your audience. So in the beginning, it might be pretty easy to get a lot of Success Club points or, you know, help a lot of people and connect with a lot of people because they're excited about what you're doing and it's brand new to them. But after a while, you're going to feel like they're sick of hearing from you, but switch your mindset into the fact that you have now developed more credibility because you've been doing this for a long time and you haven't quit. It's not just a fad, it's your lifestyle. And I think you develop credibility, and people who were your warm market in the beginning who weren't convinced, they do come around, but you also need to be adding people to your audience constantly. I got Beckett's school directory today, right, from his school, from his 1st grade class. So I'm really excited because there's a couple parents there that I want to reach out to for play dates and stuff, but you better believe I'm going to go stalk some of those people down on Facebook and add them as my friends. Some of his kids, some of his friends' parents, you know? So they're just people in my audience now. So I think that constantly, if you feel like you're talking to the same people all the time, it's probably because you are. So you need to get a bigger audience. If you only have 200 friends on Facebook, you'll tap out your warm market pretty fast. But keep networking and be confident in what you have to offer. And eventually you're going to have to spill over into other forms of social media or live interaction if that's more your thing, like fit clubs or being a fitness instructor. Or, I mean, there's lots of different ways you can reach new markets, but just constantly be expanding. Megan, I'm just going to keep calling on you to do you have anything to add to that?
I don't really think so. I mean, I haven't been in as long as you, but I don't know. There's no way you tap it out, you know. I mean, I don't think you can tap it out. I still have people surprising me coming out of, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people I don't interact with. So I think that's where the hey girl messages come in handy is you got to keep building relationships with people in your warm market. But tying off of that, like I would say every 3 months I get burned out and I'm like, what am I doing? I can't keep doing that. And I have like an awesome month and I'm like, yes, I can keep doing this, you know? And then like 3 or 4 months later, I have a terrible month again. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I mean, so I think you got to understand that nothing's easy. Everything's going to come with some work and pushing through tough times. I don't know.
I agree. And as far as being worried about people, let's see, what does it say? Everyone's going to block you or you run out of people. If you feel like everybody's going to block you or that you're annoying people, either A, you're doing something annoying, like posting constant product pictures and people probably are blocking you, or that's your mindset that you need to change, and personal development will help with that. And just being confident that people who are annoyed by you, that's not their issue. It really has nothing to do with you. And they'll either come around eventually and want to be part of what you're doing, or they won't. And then in that case, they weren't that supportive in the first place, so you don't really need them. And I know that sounds like I'm simplifying it a lot, but one thing you will find in this business is you need a thick skin, and I definitely don't have a thick skin, but it's getting thicker with time. And yeah, you're going to have some haters out there who are annoyed by you, but usually it's a reflection of something they're insecure about. So don't let it hold you back. So other questions? I answered everybody's questions in the group, I think. So I will peek really quick and holler at me if you have anything you're wondering at all. Or Megan, too. Let's see. I don't think anybody posted any other questions. Oh. Question is, how do you fit this all in with eating right, exercise, cooking, being a parent, and having another full-time job? How do you stay organized? And why do you love your job? Well, we kind of touched on the staying organized with Mishi's question, but I will talk about, well, I'll talk about it, and I'll also talk about why I love my job. I love my job because, I don't even know, because it's truly changed our lives. I was a high school teacher and college teacher for 12 years before I was able to quit to do this full time. And I say full time, but I don't work my hours full time. I do put quite a bit of time and energy into it because I don't work another full-time job anymore, but I'm home with my kids. And I love this job because it is connected me with the most amazing people ever, like my best friends. And it has allowed me to be in the best, like, physical and emotional shape of my life, probably. And it has allowed me the flexibility to be home with my kids, because I was really and truly miserable teaching full time and trying to juggle so much. So it's allowed me to help other women empower themselves and be the best version of themselves. And it never gets old to help challengers. Like, it never gets old to me. I just love seeing people succeed and feel good about themselves, because I feel like women and moms especially really, really struggle to do anything for themselves, and that never gets old. And we were able to pay off like $21,000 in credit card debt from a very long series of crappy things that happened to us. So we were like swimming in debt, and I was able to pay it all off with my Beachbody earnings. I mean, so I could go on and on, but this has been the hands down biggest life-changing opportunity ever. So that is why I love my job. And how do I find time for it? It is really a struggle to juggle everything. But I think just being really smart about your time and being willing to make the time, whether it's even just a half an hour a day, an hour a day, whatever you have, to be, like we talked about with Mishi's question, really diligent, sitting down with your list and doing the very basic things you need to do to move your business forward, and just having faith that if you need to get up a half an hour earlier every day, or cut watching some sort of reality show to make the time, it is going to be worth it. Megan, you're juggling more than I am juggling. So tell me, how do you make the time without going crazy?
You go crazy?
Pretty much.
I mean, let's be real and honest. You go a little crazy. I don't know. I feel like a crazy lady someday. I'm a full-time teacher. I'm a department chair. I'm raising 2 kids. I mean, it's like I'm a tennis coach. The list could go on, but let me answer the second part of that question. Why would I do that then? My family struggled paycheck to paycheck to pay $2,500 for daycare every month, and this has saved us from that. But the perk of also that is that I mean, I'm doing something that's really cool. Like I'm doing something where I'm like helping people. Like I'm a teacher, not for the money, but to help people. You know what I mean? Like I'm a Beachbody coach, and both of those are coming into play again. You know, and I don't know how you put a price on that. Like I get to help people. I get to get paid for it. Everything feels good. So yeah, there's some crazy. There's also I can take Saturday and Sunday and say, I'm not doing Beachbody today. You know, like I can do that. And I know that then I might not, you know, whatever might happen, but that's okay. The world keeps spinning. So, I mean, it's changed my family's life. It's changed my life. It's reconnected me with friends who I haven't spoken to in years. I mean, it's hard, but the alternative was a lot harder, you know, like watching our bank account, not knowing how we were going to do things. That was a lot harder. So I'll take the crazy.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't know if you can say it's not crazy. It is.
It's crazy.
But
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just real quick. When did you quit your job? Like you said, you've been with Beachbody for 4 years. You said
It'll be 4 years in June, I think. So I started my first, I participated in my challenge group starting, it was in March 4 years ago. So yeah. So when did I quit my job? Oh man. I think this is the first school year. This school year presently right now that I have gone back, that I have been doing nothing besides Beachbody. Before that, the semester before that, I was not teaching any more classes at the college here, at the tech college, not UW, the tech college, but I was still like doing academic advising and stuff like that. So I was still on campus putting in hours. And it was, to be quite honest, it was a kind of a sticking point between my husband and myself, because I was making, like a year ago, I was making money with Beachbody, you know, and it was definitely helping our family. And I was making more than I was at the college because they didn't pay very well, but that it wasn't steady income. And so he was like, "You're really going to quit teaching?" But I was crazy. I was a special kind of crazy. Like it was a lot to juggle. And so I would teach night classes after being home with my kids all day, and then come home after night class and do Beachbody. And it was just a lot. And so I finally was able to quit. I think second semester last year, I didn't go back, but I was still doing some advising hours. So this would be the first year that Beachbody is my only gig besides being home with my kids. And I would say that having that time to put into my business instead of running all over the place, working another job. I mean, my paychecks, like, I don't know, grew 200% since last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the time, and I had to convince my husband, just give me, I will prove to you that this time, I still don't work full-time hours, but this time is worth it. So I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like Megan said, it's hard, but it's, I was so miserable trying to juggle so much before. So this is a lot better. And the people I work with are so much more positive. I don't know. I love it. I wouldn't change it. So I think just being really smart with your time, and just knowing that it's not going to happen overnight, but in the long run, if you really want whatever you want from this business, whether you just want a little bit of extra income or a lot of extra income, whatever you're willing to put in, it will pay off in the long run. And I'm sure Megan will agree with that. Like,
well, I was saying I wanted to make $6,000 a month. And Nicole's like, "Okay, you better get busy."
yeah, possible.
Oh man. Okay.
For sure, it's possible. Might take time, but you can do it. Any other questions, guys, ladies, while you're on here? I don't want to keep. I kept you longer than I said I would, because I do that. Your power is about to go kaput. Love seeing you, Megan. It's time to log out anyway. Did anybody have any last questions for me while you're on here? Thumbs up if this was helpful at all. Okay. You tell I was a teacher. Thumbs up, thumbs down, to the side. I don't know. I taught a lot of freshmen. Like, did that common rule make sense? So, thank you, ladies. If there's anything else that comes up, please just know that this new coach group, some of you guys have been through new coach training before. Some of you, this is brand new. There's never a dumb question. You can message me too. I know Megan feels the same way. Like if you're wondering it, other people are wondering it. Even if it's like, how do I find my coach ID? Just ask. That's what we're here for. And so I hope this was helpful. And unless anybody else has anything pressing, I will let you go.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much
Right,
for being
thanks.
on.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, guys.